Godzilla has encountered not only fleshly foes, but also mechanical ones, from the mechanical versions of his nemesis Ghidorah or Gigan to his own mechanical versions as the Mecha Godzilla. There are numerous accounts of cyborgs and mechas in the Godzilla universe, and in this video, we have listed the top 11 Mecha Kaijus based on popular opinion and powers. Let us go through this list while exploring their origin story and unique abilities.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Kiryu, Mecha Godzilla 3. Kiryu first appeared in the Godzilla against Mecha Godzilla film in 2002. It is a cybernetically enhanced mecha built around the remains of the Godzilla from 1954 who was killed with the oxygen destroyer. When in 1999 another Godzilla showed up on the Earth and the advanced weapons of the Anti-Megalosaurus Force or AMF proved to be ineffective against him, the AMF proposed to construct a mechanical Godzilla to take down the current one. The skeleton of the first Godzilla was used as a framework, and special DNA computers were used to program it like an organic creature. The construction of this bio-robot was completed in 2003 and it was named Multi-Purpose Fighting System Type 3, then nicknamed Kiryu. Its major flaw was that it gained the consciousness of the first Godzilla. In the comics, Kiryu appears as an updated version of the Heisei 4 Mecha Godzilla. In the Godzilla Oblivion comic, an army of Kiryu-like mini Mecha Godzillas were seen. Kiryu is equipped with a Type 99 twin maser cannon in his mouth and high-speed Type O railguns on his wrist, which were later replaced with the Type 4 railguns. There is a maser blade inside each of his Type O railgun gauntlets, which can be used to stab the enemy and then send an electrical surge into the stabbed body. His back unit hoards 2 different kinds of rockets. It also has boosters to improve his fight. The back unit was later modified to function as guided missiles. The cannons on his shoulders shoot Type 87 680mm multiple interlocking rockets. Type 95 470mm multi-purpose guided missiles are also shot from the side of his back unit. Kiryu is strong in brawling and can deploy a strong metal wire to capture its opponent. Kiryu is also modified to have a spiral claw, but its ultimate weapon is the Absolute Zero cannon installed in his chest that can instantly freeze the target at 0 Kelvin and make it collapse under its own weight. It was later replaced with a Type 4 triple hyper maser cannon. Owing to its design, combat skills, and weaponry, especially the Absolute Zero cannon, Kiryu is popularly accepted as the best among Mecha Godzillas. Mecha Godzilla. It was introduced in the Godzilla vs. Mecha Godzilla film in 1974 as the robotic duplicate of Godzilla controlled by the black hole planet 3 aliens to conquer the Earth. A huge rock was expelled from Mount Fuji as a result of an eruption. The rock burst open and revealed a hostile and aggressive Godzilla who was then attacked by Anguirus, Godzilla's friend. In the fight, Godzilla's skin was torn off and metal was observed underneath. This Godzilla then brawled with a second Godzilla and a large portion of metal was revealed underneath its skin. The Godzilla that had emerged from the rock was then recognized as a cyborg imposter or fake Godzilla and was dubbed Mecha Godzilla. It suffered defeat and was remodeled as Mecha Godzilla 2 in the Terror of Mecha Godzilla film. In Godzilla Rulers of Earth, the Cryog aliens mass-produced an army of Mecha Godzillas as an alternative to the Mecha Godzillas of the US. Mecha Godzilla can rapidly rotate its head 360 degrees and simultaneously fire beams from its eyes, which creates a shield called the Defense Neo Barrier. Its eyes shoot a rainbow-colored space beam that instantly destroys the target. Mecha Godzilla 2 was given an additional laser firing apparatus on its backup head controller. Its neck has a trace device that can shoot several small missiles. Its fingertips have space finger missiles and its toes have high-pressure homing missiles for drilling. Its knees also have the time-delayed missiles from the Homyu shot. Its chest shoots the high-power electromagnetic cross-attack beam, and its tail has a sharp blade called a Unisot. It can fly with a jet-fired propulsion jets in its feet, and the Unisot helps in flight stabilization. It has an antenna for communication and a super radar to locate its targets. Its armor is also made of the highly durable space titanium. Mecha Godzilla is susceptible to cold and would experience a hard time in a brawl against Kiryu due to agility, so he is placed below Kiryu. Mecha Godzilla Monsterverse. This Mecha Godzilla appeared in the 2021 Godzilla vs. Kong film. Mecha Godzilla was constructed in secrecy by Apex Cybernetics, a technology company founded by Walter Simmons. Simmons sought to help mankind against the rise of the Titans and constructed the Mecha Godzilla to replace Godzilla as the Alpha Titan. Apex used the skull of King Ghidorah in its possession and connected it to the Mecha Godzilla with neural networks. Bernie Hayes, a conspiracy theorist, proposed that Apex had put a second Ghidorah skull inside the Mecha Godzilla to fully exploit the telepathic abilities. In a massive facility underneath the Apex, this giant Godzilla-like robot was activated. When Josh Valentine, who had set out to expose the Apex, witnessed it, he called it Mecha Godzilla, though Apex Cybernetics simply referred to it as the Mecha. Apex had also recreated the energy from Hollow Earth and implanted it into Mecha Godzilla, which later prompted Mecha Godzilla to gain Ghidorah's consciousness. Mecha Godzilla has two 16-cell missile launchers and 6 rocket boosters. Its rocket can be switched to jets for underwater propulsion and launch aerial drones into games. It can shoot the A-74 proton scream from its maw, which is a concentrated red beam of pure energy. Its tail has 3 long spikes that can rotate and act as a power drill. It has crane-like rotor claws that have industrial buzzsaws in the interior. It is designed with a learning algorithm and a remote pilot capability. Its eyes also make a noise at Titan attracting frequency. It can win in close combat, but Showa Mechagodzilla might overpower it with missile attacks from a distance, hence it is ranked below Showa. Super Mecha Godzilla. Super Mecha Godzilla appeared in the 1993 Godzilla vs. Mecha Godzilla 2 as a mecha of the United Nations, constructed with the salvaged parts of the Mecha King Ghidorah. The United Nations established the Godzilla Countermeasures Center in 1992 to combat Godzilla. Its military branch, the G-Force, constructed Garuda, an anti-Godzilla machine. Garuda was not very capable against Godzilla, hence the G-Force began constructing a much advanced machine with the Futurian technology scavenged from the mechanical central head of Mecha King Ghidorah. Its construction was completed in 1994. When Mecha Godzilla failed in its first fight against Godzilla, it was brought back to the G-Force and combined with a modified Garuda to increase its strength. With a Garuda attached to its back, Mecha Godzilla became Super Mecha Godzilla. It can fire paralyzer missiles from the 3-cell rocket launchers on its shoulders and the tranquilizer missiles from the ports of its hip. Super Mecha Godzilla can use the high-power maser beam cannons of the Garuda and suspend itself in the air with jets for a hover attack. Its arms has 2 shock anchor harpoons that release electrical charge on the target. Their advanced version is the G-Crusher, which can be used in conjunction with a hover attack. Mecha Godzilla can fire rainbow-colored Mega Buster Beam from its mouth, equivalent to the atomic breath, and the laser cannons in its eyes shoot 2 yellow laser beams. Its NT1 alloy armor, covered in artificial diamond coating, absorbs energy from beams and powers its own plasma grenade, its most powerful weapon. In manga adaptations and games, it has extra abilities like Mega Cannon Mode, launchable arms, and finger missiles. Super Mecha Godzilla is a good match for Monsterverse Mecha Godzilla, but it is weak in close combat. For Monsterverse, Mecha Godzilla shines. It will ultimately depend on the range of attacks, but the fight leans against Super Mecha Godzilla, so he is placed below. Mecha King Ghidorah. Mecha King Ghidorah is a cyborg that first appeared in the 1991 Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah film. Heisei Ghidorah's destroyed body was recovered in 2204 and reconstructed with cybernetics. He was given a mechanical head, wing, metal chest, and machine hand, and then he became the Mecha King Ghidorah, controlled by Ami Kano, a Futurian. In Godzilla, Rulers of Earth, the Cryogs created him as a weapon with his comatose body. Ghidorah's central head was severed and replaced with a mechanical head along with other cybernetic implants. In Godzilla Oblivion, King Ghidorah, fatally wounded in a nuclear explosion, was constructed by Dr. Eli Talbert and his assistant Ridley. In Godzilla Unleashed, he is said to have come from a future where he was defeated by Earth Monster and then mechanized by the Global Defense Force. He can fly with the anti-gravity devices fitted in his armor around the ankles. His organic heads shoot the gravity beams while his mechanical heads shoot a triple laser beam. His bite can serve a surge of energy through the jaws of his organic heads. He also has a Godzilla capture device that has 4 electrified capture cables and a large machine hand to restrain enemies. He can also do a time warp with a time machine built into him. In games and comics, he has tasers, eye lasers, and energy shields shield and a teleportation ability. Mecha King Ghidorah's attacks could be absorbed by Super Mechagodzilla's armor, which would be a major blow to Mecha King Ghidorah. Hence, it ranks lower than Super Mechagodzilla. Anime Mecha Godzilla. It first appeared in the 2017 Godzilla Planet of the Monsters anime film. Under the command of the United Earth, a military alliance between the humans and the Belusaludo aliens, both the allied races secretly constructed the Mecha Godzilla from 2042 to 2046 with the use of a special nanometal that had autonomous thinking abilities. Their goal was to build the ultimate anti-Godzilla weapon, but the Mecha Godzilla didn't activate when Godzilla attacked, thus the Mecha Godzilla was abandoned. Over 20,000 years, Mechagodzilla's nanometal spread and formed a massive nanometal fortress called the Mechagodzilla City. Mechagodzilla can reshape, deform, or repair any part of its body due to its fluid nanometal. Its chest can deform into a heat-resistant armored plate. In the city form, the nanometal can attack from a certain distance and assimilate life form. The nanometal can form a buffer layer as particles and diffuse energy attacks or protect Mechagodzilla from projectile attacks. Mechagodzilla has the Zalu Zai Type 1 modified AI and a Belusaludo quantum computer. It has a convergent neutron cannon which can melt the target's tissues from a 5-kilometer range. The blade launcher on its back has a range of 3 kilometers. Its forearm can elongate into a supersonic hyperlance of 500 meters, which injects the target with nanometal that eats its insides. It can also fly with its plasma booster. Its tail can cut and then pulverize the target with an electric shock. The Mechagodzilla City also had railguns, EMP harpoons, and the ability to convert the United Earth's powered suits into powerful vultures that can forcibly use the pilots with the machines. It may be able to gain a certain level of upper hand against Mecha King Ghidorah, but once the latter destroys its head or core, it would suffer defeat, hence it ranks lower. Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar is a robot that first appeared in the 1973 Godzilla vs. Megalon film. A scientist named Goro Ibuki created it for unknown reasons. The Cetopians stole it to guide their Megalon to destroy the surface world, but Jet Jaguar gained consciousness and reprogrammed itself to fight for the good. In Godzilla Rulers of Earth, Jet Jaguar was vaguely connected to the Cryogs. The writer has explained that the Cryogs had destroyed its homeworld and its creator had later perished during the Kingdom of Monsters events. In Godzilla Singular Point, the inventor Goro Otaki created it as a mascot for his company and first line of defense against extraterrestrial threats. In Fest Godzilla 4 Operation Jet Jaguar, it was a JSDF anti-Godzilla weapon. Jet Jaguar can willfully alter his size from 1.8 meters to 50 meters. In Godzilla Singular Point, it even grew to 100 meters on receiving a code. It is also immune to energy attacks after a specific shrunken size. It can also fly and is skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Its eyes have 2 spotlights that can blind enemies, and its mouth can emit liquid nitrogen. Its Rhino Pound Punch tremors the ground and catapults nearby enemies into the air, and its hands glow green before the handle clap that fires a purple and red energy beam. Its palm also emits a blue laser, and its chest fires missiles. Jet Jaguar also has a harpoon cannon and a spear with Anguirus' spike as the blade. Firefighter Jet Jaguar has a water hose and produces a hologram with its eyes, and medical Jet Jaguar sprays liquidized medicines from its mouth. Jet Jaguar can take on most opponents but is overpowered by multiple enemies and has a limited battery, which might prove a liability against the nanometal, hence it is placed lower. Mogera, Mobile Operations Godzilla Universal Expert Robot Aerotype. Mogera first appeared in the 1957 The Mysterians film as a war machine built to invade Earth. The Mysterians had built 2 Mogeras to safeguard themselves from the Earth Defense Force. Its name resembled the Japanese word for mole, but it was later reimagined into the 1994 Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla film and named after the acronym of Mobile Operations Godzilla Universal Expert Robot Aerotype. It was now an anti-Godzilla mecha constructed by the G-Force with the help of Russia. Its construction was completed in 1995 using the mainframe of Mecha Godzilla. In Godzilla Island, G-Guard controlled Mogera and its prototype that the Zillions stole to destroy Godzilla Island. Mogera can traverse on land, burrow underground, and fly. It can split into its constituting vehicles, the Land Mogera, a tank with a surface-to-air laser cannon, and the Star Falcon, an aircraft with 2 low-power Maser Vulcan cannons. Showa Mogera could fire lasers from its eyes, and the Heisei Mogera has a plasma laser cannon in the eyes, which repeatedly shoots individual lasers. Its hands shoot the automatic tracking laser cannon, each arm has 12 spiral grenade missiles, and its face has a large crusher drill. The plasma laser cannon in its abdomen is the strongest. Both plasma cannons can be shot simultaneously. Moguera also has a jamming system called MECM and 7 sensors to counter Space Godzilla's electromagnetic waves. It has durable armor of space steel covered in synthetic blue diamond coating, and its manga and game adaptations gained additional powers like EMP bombs, rocket launchers, chainsaws, flamethrowers, and a photonic storm attack. Moguera has certain weaknesses in the durability factor, especially the plasma laser cannon that compromises the armor. Given this, it might be defeated by Jet Jaguar and thus ranks below it. Gigan Rex. Gigan Rex is a variant of the original Gigan. It acts superior to the Gigan Miles, another Gigan variant, all of whom appeared in the Gigan vs. Gigan Rex film adopted by Toho from Takuya Oinishi's G vs. G short film that had won Toho's Godzilla-themed competition. The term Rex is Latin for king, while Miles means soldier. Although they lack a concrete origin story, it is theorized that Gigan Rex is formed when multiple Gigans combine to become a single entity. It is also known as the Beast of Surabito and is surely the head of this army of cyborgs. Gigan Rex can levitate and hover in midair as well as propel itself. Its tail has forked spikes at the tip, and its forearms have the Rex blades for melee attacks. The Rex blades can block the atomic breath without taking much damage and can extend into saw-toothed whips. It also had telepathic power to communicate with Gigan Miles and telekinetically extract their cores. Its chest crevice can open up to reveal a beam-firing aperture that shoots a yellow laser, which becomes thick and red when Miles' cores are absorbed. Gigan Rex is strong, but it may suffer damage if Moguera continuously attacks it in the air and from land, blasting its firepower. The fight would be a close call, but Gigan Rex weighs below. Mechanicong. Mechanicong is a robot Kong created by the mad scientist Doctor Who, seeking world domination. It first appeared in the Rankin-based animated series The King Kong Show in 1966, and a year later, in the King Kong Escapes film, Doctor Who had built it as the sworn enemy of the real Kong, on the basis of the anatomical drawings of the real King Kong that he stole from Carl Nelson, a UN soldier who had read much about Kong. Mechanicong's head emits a hypnotic light that can temporarily put the real Kong into a trance, and its eyes emit powerful high-beam lights that can momentarily blind its opponents. Its mouth has several loudspeakers that broadcast Doctor Who's voice, and the utility belt on its waist is equipped with multiple giant grenades. It also showcases a high level of physical strength. In the comics or mangas, Mechanicong could also produce holograms from inside its head window and had a large submachine gun. Mechanicong suffers damage if thrown from a significant height. In such case, Gigan Rex would defeat it, hence it ranks below Gigan Rex. Cyber Godzilla. Cyber Godzilla first appeared in the 12th episode of Godzilla the series. The carcass of the original Godzilla that had nested in New York in 1998 was taken by a military base for study. When the Leviathan aliens who intended to invade Earth took over the military base, they revived the carcass with their cybernetic technology, hence the name Cyber Godzilla. It became a cyborg under the absolute control of the Leviathans, who planned to use it to recruit the second Godzilla for their evil plan, whom Cyber Godzilla recognized as its son. Cyber Godzilla retains Godzilla's abilities like fast running, jumping, and amphibious nature, but its durability is improved. Its dorsal fins have missile launchers that can shoot up to 8 energy missiles that are blue or green in color when shot. Its chest has a cybernetic dish that can reflect sound waves and sound-based attacks back to its source. Cyber Godzilla also has the iconic atomic breath, which is blue in color, whereas its son's atomic breath is green. Cyber Godzilla does not have a durable body, thus it is weak despite the atomic breath, so it is ranked in the last. Marvelous verdict. Ranking these powerful kaijus is never an easy task, and everyone's list is bound to differ. Each mecha has its own unique ability that can overpower the other in certain circumstances, yet a defined power dynamic exists among them. Kiryu majorly stands as the strongest mecha in the fandom, while the weaker mechas were ranked so due to a lack of lethal abilities. Comment to let us know what you think about this list and how you would have shuffled it for your favorites.
If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.